The night started like any other, with the city alive with distant hums of cars and the occasional bark of a dog echoing through the alleyways. But I knew, the moment I stepped into my apartment building that evening, that something was off. The elevator didn't work. Again. I cursed under my breath, pressing the button for the 5th floor, hoping someone else would come along, but the lobby was empty, unnervingly silent. The lights flickered once, twice, and then died. Darkness swallowed the hall like a living thing, thick and suffocating. I fumbled for my phone, its screen weakly illuminating the corridor. My own shadow stretched along the walls, and for a fleeting second, I thought I saw movement at the end of the hall, a figure, pale and unmoving. My heart thumped so loudly I thought it would echo down the empty building. "Hello," I called, my voice trembling, sounding absurdly loud in the silence. Nothing. Just the oppressive darkness pressing in, like it wanted me to panic. I reached my apartment door and shoved my key into the lock. The key wouldn't turn. I tried again. And then, I heard it, the softest whisper, almost too low to be human, right behind me. "Don't turn around." I froze. My mind screamed to run, but my legs wouldn't move. Another whisper, closer this time. "You shouldn't be here." I spun around. Nothing. Just the darkened hallway, stretching endlessly. But the air had changed. It was colder, heavier, and filled with the faint smell of decay, like something had died here, long ago. I finally forced the door open, stumbling inside. My apartment was pitch black. I didn't even bother turning on the lights. I knew they were gone. The power outage had hit the entire block. I grabbed a flashlight from the kitchen drawer, the beam cutting weakly through the darkness. And that's when I saw it. On the far side of my living room, a shadow moved. No, not a shadow. Something alive, slinking along the walls, its movements unnatural, almost liquid. My breath caught in my throat. I tried to speak, to scream, but nothing came out. The thing, or whatever it was, paused. And in the dim glow of my flashlight, I saw its face. Or rather, what should have been a face. It was a smooth, pale mask, with dark, hollow eyes that seemed to devour the light. And its mouth stretched wider than humanly possible, teeth jagged, dripping black fluid. I ran. I didn't care where. I just ran toward my bedroom and slammed the door shut. My hands shook as I locked it, heart hammering like a drum. I could hear it outside, scraping against the walls, whispering my name. My name. "Why are you hiding?" it hissed. I stumbled back into the closet, shutting the door behind me. The flashlight flickered and died. I was in complete darkness, breathing in short, sharp gasps, listening to it circling my apartment. Every creak of the floor, every scratch on the walls, was magnified 100 times. I remembered my phone. I had left it in the living room. My only hope of calling someone, anyone, was out there, with that thing. But the thought of stepping out, no, not yet. The whispers grew louder, echoing inside my own head. "We see you. We hear you." I tried to cover my ears, but it was inside me, in my skull, crawling through my thoughts. A cold hand, or something like a hand, brushed my shoulder. I screamed. The door rattled violently, as if the thing outside wanted to be inside, needed to be inside. I had no idea what to do. I tried calling for help, but my voice had been stolen, replaced with an icy, rasping laughter. Then, I remembered the old rumor about my building. A tenant from decades ago had died mysteriously when the lights went out during a blackout. Some said it wasn't the blackout that killed him, but something that came with it, something that fed on fear, that could walk through walls, that thrived in darkness. I had laughed it off at the time, but now, I didn't feel like laughing. A shadow passed under the closet door. Its shape elongated unnaturally, bending corners that should have been straight. And then it stopped. Silence. Absolute silence. I counted to 10, my hands trembling, trying to make sense of what just happened. Maybe it had gone. Maybe this was a nightmare. But then I heard the whisper again, this time directly behind me, inches from my ear, "You can't hide forever." I turned. There was nothing. My flashlight flickered on for a split second, and I caught a glimpse of the room, but it wasn't my apartment anymore. The walls were peeling, covered in strange symbols that pulsed faintly, almost breathing. The air smelled of rotten burnt flesh. And in the corner, a shape crouched, waiting, watching. I bolted. I ran through the apartment, blindly, crashing into furniture, falling over carpets, hearing it move just behind me. I reached the door and threw it open. The hallway was gone. In its place was an endless void, darkness stretching beyond what eyes could see. A low growl vibrated through the floorboards. Shapes began to emerge from the void, shadowy forms with glowing eyes, reaching for me with limbs that twisted impossibly. I screamed. My body was moving on its own, dragging me forward into the blackness. Every instinct screamed to stop, to fight, but I couldn't. The whispers were everywhere now, overlapping, chanting my name, mocking me, promising a fate worse than death. I stumbled, fell, and landed in something cold and wet. I didn't dare look, but I felt it. Limbs, hundreds of them, writhing and grasping, crawling over my body, pulling me into the void. Panic surged, and I kicked, punched, anything, and then, just as suddenly as it had started, everything stopped. I woke up on my living room floor. The lights were back. The city hummed outside. My apartment was normal again. Too normal. I ran to the door, stepped into the hallway, lights working, neighbors returning home. I laughed nervously, trying to convince myself it was just a nightmare. But then I looked down. Black, oily footprints trailed from my apartment door to the middle of the hall. And at the center, a single, perfect handprint, pressed into the floor, as if someone, or something, had been holding on. I never stayed in that apartment again. Some say it was just a blackout, my imagination, or stress. But I know what I saw. And I know that night wasn't over when the lights came back on. Because sometimes, when the city is quiet, and the hum of life fades, I can hear the whispers again. Right outside my window. We're still here. Dash dash dash.